Hey, John here. Been chatting with some folks on saw chain and harvester chain. So I thought I'd throw out a video that I'm hoping would help. To do this, I had to kick it off with kind of defining two terms because it gets really clumsy with talking about harvester chain and then what we would call chainsaw chain, right? Well, obviously they're both using chainsaw chain, but it gets clumsy. So I'm going to talk about harvester chain, and then I'll use the term chainsaw chain. Let's keep those two separate. There's a difference in the way I sharpen the harvester chain compared to chainsaw chain. It has to do with the side plate. And I'll throw in a picture here of a standard and completely disregard brands of chain and all that kind of stuff. I just got pictures of chain. Here's a picture of a factory grind, round filed, new chain. I haven't touched it. And you'll notice that it has that, what we call the hook on the side plate. It's the, the cutting angle on the side plate of the tooth. If you look at harvester chain, and I've been running Oregon chain, you'll notice very little hook on the side plate of harvester chain. Why? The difference is when we run chainsaw chain and we're physically holding on to that saw and running it, we as users are expecting a certain amount of what we call self-feeding. And another term that's used is the reactive force. It's that chain wanting to cut into the wood. When we start to feel like we have to push on the saw, we consider the chain needing to be sharpened. It's becoming dull. I'm going down now. Obviously, if you're coming up under a log, what I'm saying here is there's a sweet spot, right? Is when we put that saw to the wood, we're expecting it to want to cut. Now, the difference is with harvester chain, and this applies whether you're running a harvester like this or even a firewood processor. That mechanical drive of that saw bar is actually hydraulic pressure. And on this head here, most processors, I don't want to get above my pay grade here, but I believe there really is no difference in the hydraulic pressure of that bar coming down. When I touch that button in there, it's hydraulic pressure running that out. And the bar in the chain has no idea whether it's cutting through a 3-inch limb, small stem, or a large 30-inch limb. It doesn't know. It's the same pressure. So here's where it becomes interesting to understand, why is there no hook on harvester chain? And it has to do with the strength of that working corner. That all-important working corner on chainsaw chain, that needs to be sharp. And I use the term prick your finger sharp. That's what's hooking that fiber. And that is what starts that effect of what we call self-feeding. It wants to cut into the wood. I know all about the depth gauge settings and that kind of stuff, and I'm going to stay focused here on that working corner. With harvester chain, because we have that hydraulic pressure physically pushing that bar into the wood, we don't need that hook. And actually, we don't want it. And it's because of that pressure pushing that bar and saw down onto that wood. If we do have that hook, it weakens the corner. It's physically weaker. There's not the strength there. And that hydraulic pressure pushing that down on those pieces, it actually pins that corner down. And just like saw chain, the harvester chain it starts to act like it's dull. I actually watch it from the cab, and you can start to see the chips start to look a little more dusty. It's a little finer chip. That's telling me visually, along with the cutting speed, that chain is becoming what I call wood dull. I haven't damaged it. I didn't hit dirt or wire. The hardness of the wood, I'm starting to lose that cutting edge. I don't feel that back on that control lever when I touch that button. There's no feedback on what that bar feels like, what we do when we're running a chainsaw. So that's what I'm watching for. And then when I'm sharpening, and I'm going to throw in a picture here of a brand new Oregon chain. I haven't touched it. That's on the top. And then the chain down below, you'll see, has that hook effect that we typically see in chainsaw chain. We don't want that in harvester chain. You'll find that the chain's going to stay sharper longer if we stay away from that hook effect on harvester chain. Hope it helps. Take care, guys.